Welcome to Yoga Teacher Journeys, your podcast for all things yoga and mindful living. I'm Claire.
And I'm Bianca, and we're two yoga teachers sharing the insights and wisdom we've picked up along our journey so far.
Whether you're thinking about teacher training or exploring yoga as a way of life, join us weekly for inspiring conversations.
Let's go on this journey together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back, episode 16.
Yes, episode 16. So exciting.
Wow. And where are you today, Claire?
Still in Budapest, but it's the last day. I'm taking a flight tonight to Geneva. So one last...
Have you done all your packing and everything?
Sort of, yes. I've realized that I have too much stuff and I have to repack so that I can actually fit it all in. But
can you like leave some stuff in Budapest?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. But I have my whole winter wardrobe and summer wardrobe here now, and I need to bring some of my summer wardrobe with me as well. So it's a bit of a, I have become a lot more minimalistic in the past year for sure, but still fitting it all in one suitcase your whole life is a little bit challenging. So yeah.
Kind of stressful. Yeah, stressful.
Yeah. How about you? Where are you now?
So we are in Kerala. So we moved from Goa. What day is it today? It's Tuesday. Yeah. We moved from Goa on Thursday and we spent the weekend in a place called Fort Kochi, which is beautiful. It was like a little city sort of vibe, and then there was this small town that we were staying in, and the energy there was amazing. It was incredible and quite a big difference from Goa. And now we've traveled, it was like nearly a 6-hour journey. Yesterday we traveled, 6-hour taxi ride. We're still in Kerala, but we're in a place now called Mannar, which is, there's a lot of mountains and tree plantations, and it's really beautiful. So yesterday evening we did like a sunset little hike. We went to this viewpoint, which was beautiful, and then this morning we've been up since 4 a.m. and we did a jeep safari up to the top of this mountain and then did a sunrise up there. So yeah, it's nice and crazy that actually the Wi-Fi is not too bad, so I'm glad about that, because I've got a few calls today. So yeah,
amazing.
This is my jungle office.
Oh, I love it. It looks great. And the background's amazing. And have you got any yoga classes around where you are now?
So we did a yoga class in Kochi. I did a couple of yoga classes there. I was actually going to do some yoga this morning, but by the time we got back from this sunrise trek, we were like, we need to sleep. So we've slept instead. We've been doing our meditation and everything, but yeah, we haven't. Once we get to the next place, we're going to hopefully stay in it a little bit longer, and I'll get back to practice there. We're just doing the best we can with what we have,
Of course. So how long are you staying where you are now?
Just tonight, and then we leave 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and we go to the next place, which is where we're going to be staying on a houseboat and whatnot. We're doing a couple of nights in this area, and then from there we move to another place and we're going to stay there for at least a week. So that'll be nice. Yeah.
A houseboat. Amazing.
Yeah, houseboat. So it's all going on over here. But the funny thing is, right, the first time we've been really, really cold, obviously at the top of the mountain, there was a lot of wind. It was freezing up there. And I've got one fleece with me and it's not warm enough. Definitely not. So I had a fleece, my tie-dye scarf that I was obviously using as like a nice shawl in Goa, was like wrapped around me. Like, it was an experience, that's for sure. But yeah, it's nice.
Must also feel nice to cool down a little bit as well. And on the other hand,
yeah, we were like, wow, we can breathe, because it was it was really hot in Kochi, like almost so much so that you couldn't go out in the daytime. And you're just sweating the whole time. So to come here and be cold, it's crazy how like you travel that far and it's completely different climate, culture, food, people, everything's so different. So it's really beautiful though.
Amazing.
So feeling very grateful.
That's so good. I love that for you. So we're going to talk about yoga retreats today.
Segue. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about.
So talking about yoga retreats that we've been on, and also what is our ideal yoga retreat, and the one we're planning for later this year. So this is happening, guys, but we want to give you a little bit more an idea of what to expect in a yoga retreat, because you may have been to some yoga classes or even to a workshop, but you might not know what it means. And I think, again, like with yoga classes, there are so many different types of retreats. So it's up to you to find the one that really works for you. So tell me, B, what's your experience with retreats so far, and what do you like about them?
So I've been on quite a few retreats and all very different, very, very different. I've been on one in Thailand, one in India, one in Devon, one in, there was another few in the UK. So yeah, I've done like abroad and UK ones, and every retreat that you go to is such an experience. And I think it's beautiful if you can allow yourself to be there and be present with it. And again, this is where it comes that you don't want to have too many expectations, because it's all about the journey of the retreat. You never know what's going to come up. You never know the people that are going to be there, and that's the beauty of it. So the last retreat that I did was a couple of weeks back in India. It was beautiful. It was a week long, and it was called Freedom Through Yoga. So this one was more about this. We did a lot of yoga philosophy classes, which I really enjoyed. Really enjoyed. So the mornings were yoga practice first thing, like early, 7:30, I think, a.m., which actually, no, 7:30 isn't too bad. There was one day where we did practice at 6 a.m., which again, I think it's really, really nice to practice that early. The energy feels different for sure. We then have breakfast all together. We then had philosophy class, a bit of free time over lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, we might do like a yin class, because it was so warm as well. Everyone by the afternoon was quite tired, right? We had a few excursions. There was one night where we had the opportunity to go to the rave, and I was like, I'm not feeling the rave. Some of the guys did, and it's where we were in Goa. That was kind of like the famous spot. So I was like, I'm not fancying that. So me and one of the other girls had a chilled night, which was nice to have the option. We spent time on the beach. It was different. Again, the longest one I've done is the week. So every day, yoga practice, lesson. So it felt quite full. The one I did in Thailand last year, it was 3 nights. And again, it was a very early start. I think it was 6 a.m. start for yoga, 2 hours of yoga in the morning, beautiful breakfast, some sort of activity over lunchtime, a bit of free time, and then another yoga class in the afternoon. So that's the general kind of theme that they normally are. The one I did in the UK was more workshopy. So there was maybe only 2 yoga classes across the 4 days. The rest of it was more like personal development workshops. So that was a nice mix as well. I prefer the ones where you have yoga every day, but that's me. That's my bias. What about you?
Yeah, so I've been to a couple of retreats over the years, mostly around the UK actually, and Wales, Oxford, trying to think where else. But then I also went to Mallorca. One of the longest ones I did was in Greece. So I did a 1 week retreat in Greece, which was amazing, on this like private island. Unfortunately, they have stopped doing the retreats there. Otherwise, I would recommend it to people too. But that was really cool. And I think what I noticed from going on retreats is that you need those 3 nights at least to really settle into it, because by day 2, you finally start to relax and actually get the benefits of being on a retreat. And if you have to check out the next day, it just feels a bit short. So that's my recommendation generally. And then all the ones I've been on, exactly what you said, in the sense that there would be usually 2 yoga practices a day, a more energizing one in the morning, and then a more restorative one in the evening. And they usually would be 2 hours long. And 2 hours might sound like really long for people who are not used to it, but you just take your time with everything a little bit more. You have a lot more time for individual adjustments, but also meditation and breath work, and you learn a lot more about perhaps the theory behind things. So it's a really nice way for you to deepen your practice, but also learn more about the practice. Because often in certain classes, in an hour, you just really don't have much time to give the students attention and actually go into the asanas a little more and understand your body alignment and if you are doing the asanas correctly. So it's a great way for that and to explore that a little bit more. And then, of course, the food is always really key and a big highlight there. Usually vegetarian, sometimes vegan, and prepared by someone especially. So it's beautiful food and really nicely prepared for you. So you feel really good, you feel really energized. And you mentioned the rave, but of course, normally, so for example, you wouldn't drink alcohol. There has been situations where people feel like I am on holiday. And so it's happened to me on one of my first ones where we all went into town and it was beautiful and it was sunny and everyone was like, oh, should we sneak in a little glass of wine? Because it just feels like we're on holiday. And then in Greece as well, around the bonfire, they offered some wine, and not against it at all. But I think that if you're in the spirit of a retreat, I think it makes sense not to drink alcohol. It also impacts your practice. So yeah, that's kind of my experience so far. But I've fallen in love with retreats. I love creating that space. It's, as you say, about the people, it's about the practice, it's about yourself, it's about slowing down and giving yourself that space to really rest as well. I was talking to my students about this here. I was like, I really see our retreat as not too many activities, really a lot of free time so people can read, people can rest, and hopefully being in an almost secluded place, like in a villa somewhere, so that there are no distractions and you can really be with yourself. Yeah. How do you view the retreat you'd like to organize?
I think for me, again, if you think about the word retreat, is to come back to yourself, right? So you're retreating, you're coming back to yourself. So you do need space for that to happen. So if it's jam-packed every single day, you haven't got that space for the yoga to do its thing, for the healing, the growing, and the just being to happen. So for me, I think it is around creating space and safety and community, connection. People that, honestly, the last retreat I went to, these people within a day felt like family. And I think it's so beautiful that yoga means to unite. And really, yoga brings people from all over the world together to share this experience. And it's so beautiful. For me, what I'd love to offer is, I think 3 to 4 days is a really, really good amount of time. And in that time, the same sequence of asana in the morning, I think is really, really beneficial, because then your body knows what's coming and you can almost see the journey throughout the week. So for me, if I was to teach the morning practice, I would definitely have a similar sort of flow on all of the days, just so that you can really, even with your mind, you can see the differences each day. If you're doing different flows every day, it's kind of hard to see that. It's really, really important. Yeah. So for me, it's that actually you can learn so much about yourself by doing the same sequence 4 days in a row. Some days you're going to be completely not able to balance. Some days are going to feel harder than others. And by having similar sort of asana or postures, you're able to connect more with yourself. And also you can see how much space you created in your body over the space of time. You may be able to hold a pose slightly longer, or maybe one day you're a little bit more compassionate to yourself, and you can really notice it when you're not having to think about anything too complicated movement wise. But again, I think it's about reading the room and knowing what students you have, because sometimes a more fiery vinyasa is maybe what is needed. But for me, I think it's good to have similarities throughout the days. Your body will appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think so. And I think I always have some level of familiarity even in my classes, right? So there will always be sun salutations, for instance, and some sort of balancing perhaps. So I think that's a really amazing idea to have on a retreat, and having at least, I don't know, 80% of the sequence being the same.
Yeah, of course.
But then maybe that 20% that is maybe slightly different, because we are all used to so much change. And I think students at the beginning might find it almost difficult to have it exactly the same, which is so funny. But I think if we tell people at the beginning, look, there is a reason why this is going to be the same, and take your time to learn the sequence, and then you will see how much you progress, and you will appreciate that progress and how you feel, and giving them that sense of awareness at the end of each practice. Like, notice, how was your practice today compared to yesterday? Were you able to balance? Did this feel easier? Did that feel easier? And that sense of awareness is amazing. And then maybe in the practice that I do for them, it can be, it's usually a hatha. It can be like a slower hatha in the evening, perhaps. And there could be maybe more variety and maybe more time to look at different types of asanas, maybe that they haven't tried before, and have that element of curiosity and trying different things. We also spoke about this before on another pod, but I think it would be really special to have some sort of chanting of the same mantra at the beginning of all of the classes, so they also feel that sense of community, and teaching them about that, I think, would be really great.
Yeah, for me, when I was practicing in Goa, the mantras at the start, they're so like you can really feel it. You can really feel it.
Mhm.
So that's a really important part for me as well. So absolutely. Yeah.
Yay. What else do we want to have on the retreat?
So yeah, lots of free time. So,
Hmm.
and then maybe some options for workshops. I'm happy to offer some life coaching sessions to our students if they come. They can have life coaching, like little half an hour life coaching chat if they need or want it. Sharing circles, an opportunity to connect, an opportunity to spend time with yourself, flexibility, time in nature,
I
everything,
agree.
all of those lovely things, but not too much.
Not too much. I agree. And
Mm,
then I think a space available to them perhaps to drop in whenever they want for creativity.
yeah.
So whether that's just, I don't know, some painting or creating necklaces or bracelets with beads or something like that. I had that on previous retreats. And I think it's a
Mm,
really amazing way to slow down the mind. And it's in a way, it's very meditative.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think, and people don't have that opportunity to be creative that much anymore. So I think that will be
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, play, fun, all of those things that we need more of in our lives. We can have a weekend where we bring those pieces out and practice them so that then people can take that back and try and integrate that into normal life, you know?
Yeah,
Mm,
definitely. We could have a
yeah.
little talk about also journaling and
All
meditation.
sorts. We have a
All
lot to,
Mhm.
yeah. We don't want to
Yeah.
put too much though, you know? We need to,
No, I know, I
you
know.
know,
So we'll have to pick and choose. And I think, as you say, also be flexible and read the room. So
yeah,
a balance between structure, but also in the moment, not being attached to
not
it.
being rigid.
Yeah, so that we can flow with the students and the moment, and also sometimes the weather. Like, it
Hmm.
could be that it's a beautiful morning to go for a walk. Oh, there was this amazing thing that I did. We should also do at one point is one silent breakfast, which we did on our training.
Yeah.
And that's just more about noticing your food,
Mhm.
noticing how you eat, the texture of the food. And it's really special to be in a room with people, but also we're together, but not necessarily talking. And you can also communicate so much just through eye contact and
Mhm.
gestures. So I
Mhm.
think that's a really great experience. And the other thing I did was a silent walk in the morning. So you wake up, you don't speak to necessarily, for example, your roommate. You could just give yourself eye contact, a smile, and then we would go on this silent walk. So I think if we have somewhere where we can do that before the yoga practice one morning, that would be really special.
Yeah. And it would be nice to have, I don't want to say no phones, but limit screen time a little as well so that you can
Yes.
really, it's tough though, right? Because we're so busy distracting ourselves. So I appreciate
Mhm.
how hard it is to go from that sort of life coming into a retreat space. So nothing too rigid, flexible, but we want you to get the most out of it, of course.
Definitely. I think often when retreats I've been to, people say no phones in public spaces. So whether there's a group sitting room or whatever, don't be on your phone because then you're influencing
Yeah.
the next person. But of course,
Mhm.
if you want to be on your phone in your room or you want to take a call somewhere outside, you can have like a little phone zone, like a smoking area, but for
Yeah.
phones.
Okay.
And it can't be too comfortable and it has to be like standing only. then
Brilliant.
then that's possible. But also, going on a retreat somewhere where the signal's rubbish would be perfect.
Where would be your ideal location for a retreat then?
So right now, my dream is Italy. I don't know why. I'm just obsessed with the food there and just the culture of. I think they have a really that culture of going slow and enjoying life and enjoying really good, simple quality ingredients. For example, when it comes to food and simple things in life, and that simplicity and that joy, and it's colorful and very green, and I don't know. That's just why I have it in my mind, and so
Mhm.
that's the location we're looking at the moment. But I think there are so many places where it can be wonderful. What about you?
Yeah, and I think anywhere that you are, the
Mm,
experience will be different. And going back to saying doing a similar sequence every day, even though it's similar, you can have a totally different experience every time. So
exactly.
no matter where you are, it's all about experiencing. And like you
Mhm.
say, it's how many moments of presence have you actually had in that weekend? You can be anywhere, right? But can we bring ourselves really into the moment? I think that's for me the most special thing. So even if you are somewhere even like that's a bit colder, right? And a bit more cloudy and grey all the time, what can you find in those moments? Because every moment is magical if you look for that.
Definitely. And I had
Mm-hmm.
retreats like that. So I was retreats in the UK, right? Mostly going to
Mm,
be a bit rainy, a bit gloomy, but actually it was perfect because you don't feel that sense of guilt of being inside and just reading your book and going back to bed after yoga practice because you want to feel cozy, you want to feel warm, you want to just read, really relax and sleep. And so those were the most restorative ones. Whereas, for
mm-hmm.
example, the retreat in Greece on this really amazing island in my free time, I was like, oh, I have to walk around the whole island and I have to go see this secret spot and I need to go and, oh, today I'm going to read in this spot here because that's really special. And then on my break tomorrow, I'm going to go kayaking and then I'm going to, and and it's like, yes, amazing, but not as restorative, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think less is more with retreats.
Yeah,
100%.
and everyone will have different intentions for their time there. So it's really about listening. What do you need? Because we can set this space up and we can invite you in and we can give you these guidelines, but really it's about you. So,
and I think that's the thing that's really important to say is all of these things are optional. Even the yoga
of course.
practices are optional. So
Yeah.
if one day you're really not feeling it and you just want to relax and do nothing, do nothing.
You do
That's
your
fine.
thing. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's something I always say in my class. I think I've probably said this on a podcast before. It's always an invitation. It's not an obligation, right? You don't have to do anything that I'm suggesting. It's, it's your body, it's your practice. It's you do what you feel like you need. And yoga really is that opportunity to reconnect with those messages that are coming, the wisdom within your body. So yeah, we want to give you that safe space to explore.
Definitely. Anything else we can think of?
I would say something I'd want to let our students know is that I'm trauma informed. So if anyone was to, because I can appreciate some people, they might find coming to a yoga class, if they've been through a lot of trauma and stuff in their life, that they might feel a little nervous about that. But what we want you to know is that any retreats that we offer, there's always going to be a trauma-based lens. Like, we got you.
Yes, we have got you. I think we're both very self-aware and we've all had different experiences. Obviously, as you said, B, you're trauma informed. I've utilized yoga as a tool to help me through managing grief over the years. We have lived through that yogic lifestyle and the power of yoga. And so we're very happy to guide you and bring you into that safe space. And I think I've worked with a lot of students in Budapest now who are new to yoga and who are maybe a little bit intimidated or nervous. I had one student now give me feedback and she was like, I was so nervous to try a yoga class and I felt like it wasn't for me, it wasn't for my body type, and thank you for showing me how accessible it was. And so I think that's the thing. Yoga is for any body type. You can adapt, any level of flexibility you can adapt, and any energy level as well. So wherever you're at, whether it's like your cycle, where you're at in the month, where you're at in life, there is a practice for you.
Of course. And yeah, we welcome you just as you are, anytime. It's a safe space. So
yes. Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too. So yeah, we're gonna details to come shortly. Once we know a bit more, we can obviously spread the news. But for now, it's exciting to do the research and talk about it.
It is. It's making it real, right? We're manifesting it. And we are working in collaboration with someone else to help us find the perfect venue. And so we're really excited to get that information. So in the next 2 weeks, we'll know a lot more about venues. And then once we've locked in the venue, we'll be creating all the details that you need to be able to sign up to the retreat. So I'd say by the end of March, beginning of April, all details will be revealed. And we can't wait to see you on the retreat.
Yeah, amazing. Anything else? I think we covered quite a lot there. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out, send us a DM.
Yes.
We're always here. So
definitely. And any suggestions as well. If you've been on a retreat and there was something you did on the retreat that you absolutely loved and you would recommend, please let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
All right.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.